So I decided to change my name, which may, for some of you, come as a bit of a surprise. Many of you maybe don't care, but for me it was a fairly big step, and I want to talk about that today. So first of all, I suppose it's reasonable to ask, well, what is my name? My name is Abby, which is short for Abigail. Abigail will be going on my passport and whatever, and I'm hoping that people who like me will call me Abby. Obviously that's with apologies to Philosophy Tube. Sorry, Abigail Thorne, but as much as I would like to not have stolen somebody else's name, it's a beautiful name and I think it suits me really well. And I guess the next question is, well, why am I changing it, and why am I changing it now? And to answer that question, first of all, maybe let's have a little think about why I retained my former name. Now, the reason why I kept Andy was basically because I didn't hate it. It was fine. It was a name that I'd kept, and it was a name that meant something to me in terms of retaining, taking control of my identity a little bit, because my legal name was, I guess still is, Andrew, and that's how I was known throughout all of secondary school. And if you have seen any of my videos about my childhood, you'll know this was a horrible time in my life. And so when I left that school, I wanted to kind of reform that identity, reclaim who I am, and changing that name was a step that I could take. It was within my control back when I was 16 years old. And so I introduced myself as Andy. And through that, I think I was able to reformulate my sense of self, my identity a little bit. And so retaining it seemed to make a bit of sense in that sense, just as Andy had been a kind of symbol of that reclamation of who I was back when I was a teenager. Perhaps it could be the same as I take on my fully formed version. And beyond that, I always wanted to stress that transitioning doesn't mean that I'm becoming somebody else. Getting to know me post-transition isn't having to reintroduce yourself to a complete stranger. I still feel I'm the same person, just a lot more comfortable, happy, positive, caring, and so on. A lot of my interests remain the same. A lot of my values absolutely remain the same. So retaining my name, for me, kind of consciously or subconsciously seemed to reinforce that. It is a beautiful, beautiful morning today. Anyway, so my thoughts turn to documentation, because I do actually need to renew my passport. It expires in a few months. I need to update my Polish ID because my photo certainly no longer matches the reality. And last time I left the country to go to Morocco, I got some very suspicious looks by the border guards. And so it occurred to me, I need to change that. And then that in turn got me thinking about, what name do I want on that passport? I can't have Andrew anymore. It certainly doesn't seem appropriate. And another thing that I realized was I'd had a few issues going into meetings and otherwise where using the name Andy, as genderless as I try to maintain it's not really. I mean, most Andys are definitely male, and so it led to a bit of confusion, a bit of frustration. And so I thought, well, I can actually be quite helpful by having a more female coded name going ahead of me, especially in terms of job applications and stuff. Wow, this is also beautiful. I think this is going to be one of those mornings where a camera just doesn't do it justice. It's gorgeous. Where was I? Yeah, so I thought, well, I need to make some changes. And so the first step is completing a deed poll form, which I can do online and is no cost to me. And so I opened up the online form, and it had the fields where I put in my old name and my new name. And I paused for a moment because I was like, well, what do I want? And I thought about it. I talked about it with Carolina, and I've decided that legally I want to be Abigail, and I want to change the name that people know me by to Abby, because it feels right. And this was the first step, and making that choice. That said, that was the first step. Second of all, I was like, okay, so what logistically should I do next? What can I do next? Well, let's let everybody at work know about this. So I did that last week. I sent out an email to everybody. I got my name, my kind of display name on Outlook changed to Abby. So that's how I've asked people to refer to me, and that's gone really well. The responses to the email that I sent out were, as always, very supportive. One of the replies was actually quite interesting, and I really appreciated it. It was somebody who I've worked with for several years. She actually works and lives over in Romania, and she replied saying that she'd actually been talking about me with somebody else, another colleague that we both know, and she'd been kind of wondering if Andy didn't serve me anymore. And so she was quite vindicated, I suppose, by the fact I changed my name almost in lockstep with that conversation that she was having, which I think that really kind of validated my own decision, because yeah, while maybe Andy was gender neutral enough early on, I don't think it serves me anymore. I don't feel that I present particularly gender neutral anymore. I'm not saying that I pass, but at the same time, I'm definitely much more female coded. So yeah, while I was fine with Andy, I think it was a name that I just didn't feel particularly drawn to, and kind of looking at all of my reasonings for retaining it, it seems a lot of them are fairly utilitarian. And since asking everyone to refer to me by Abby, it's been really nice. It's quite interesting. I didn't really expect that name change to have such a dramatic impact on myself psychologically. I feel lighter. I feel, I don't know, more complete, if that was even possible. It's like I've drawn a line under the person who I was, and I've really taken into my hands the person who I am and always have been. And I didn't actually expect to feel that way, to be honest. I thought that it would just, again, feel like a fairly logical and utilitarian thing, but it's lovely. And so many people have told me how much Abby suits me, and that's really kind of them to say, and I have to say I agree. So yeah, I thought that I would just share this little life update with you, but I mean, I say little, it's not little at all. I know that there's still a lot that I need to do on this front. I've just made the very first step when it comes to the kind of administrative changes that need to be made, but I'd been putting it off for a while, and I know administrative changes take a lot of steps and a lot of patience, so I am steeled for this to be an experience that's going to take me many years potentially, but that's okay. That's okay. Every journey begins with a single step. Anyway, I'll leave it there. I just want to end by saying, well, first of all, my plan to make a fashion channel is is gaining some momentum, so look out for that soon. And also, as I said in this video, this change to my work status, well, it's left me very much in a bit of a financial pickle, to say the least. And if you appreciate my content, I would really appreciate it if you could buy me a coffee, because I'm not going to be able to buy myself any coffees for the foreseeable future. Here's the QR code here that you can scan, and I'll put the details in the box below. Of course, you don't have to, but it would be amazing if you could do that. Anyway, I'll wish you all the best. Have a great week. I hope that your mornings are as beautiful as mine are at the moment, and I'll see you very soon. Goodbye.